No. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the show. Today is episode 40. 40 weeks we've been doing this. That's like enough to have a child. 40. This is August finished projects. I've been waiting for the landscapers that come at noon, and it's 12:30 and they haven't been here yet. So I'm wondering how long I'm going to have before they show up, and then I'm going to forget everything I said before that and then repeat myself. Anyway, happy September. It's September 1st. And it's so nice outside. It's like 50. I mean, not 50. It's like 72 degrees. It's so nice. September 1st, the beginning of fall. Not really, because I believe the equinox ushers in fall, but it's fall for me. As soon as September hits, that's it. Summer's over. Fall. I'm ready for the colder weather. This heat makes me insane, and it makes my pain worse. And so does the cold of winter. So like spring and fall are really the only times that my pain levels are like manageable, I guess. Not really, but almost. So I am ready for the colder weather for the heat of summer to dissipate, and we can have some nice weather that, we can be in here and not roast. Okay, so I have lots of things today. We have everything we have finished this month, which is a bunch of Dana's. These are not the new Dana. That's new Dana. That's not a new Dana. I'm not sure what I was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because I have to show you're going to see this and the sport and the DK next episode for Dye Project, because I want to keep the Dye Projects all together, and we just happen to. The Dye Project episode is how I schedule the entire month, because Dye Project is always the first Monday of the month. So if like this Monday, this month is starting on a Wednesday. So Dye Project is Monday. So today had to be the end of August. I don't make the rules, it's just how it is. Actually, I do make the rules. Anyway, we're already off the rails, and it's 4 minutes in. Okay. So we're going over what we finished this month, which is just the 4 Danas and a surprise. I have some squishy mail, and then if you saw my Instagram post, I may or may not have an epic fail, and we're going to talk about it and figure out which one we have. So, we'll get you want an update on Lola, I bet. Lola does not have Cushing's. She has Addison's, which is like the same thing. It's a similar condition that I don't know anything about. She also has low thyroid. Both tests for thyroid, they do the thyroid and then free something, whatever. She didn't even register either one on their test. So she's on thyroid pills and prednisone. She has 2 pills. And I thought they did another test on her. They had me bring her back that next day. And because they got her blood work in the next day, and the other doctor, the one doctor that I really like, because he actually like, no. They took Lola's blood work that day, last Wednesday that I had talked to you, and then Thursday they called me and said, we got her blood work back, you need to bring her in immediately. We have to run another test. So they said low thyroid, and they think Addison's. They think they ruled out Cushing's because of the I don't remember what. Because I talked to 2 different doctors. Because there's one doctor there that I really like, and that's the one that called me. And he's like, bring her in right away. That's the same one that called me when they had, when they finally fixed her tooth, and they gave her back to me. She was all doped up, and I had to hold her all night and make sure she didn't die. And he called me that morning to check on her, and he was like, bring her in right away. We're going to keep her for a little while. Because she still couldn't hold her urine. And she was still way out of it. So he was like, bring her in. We're going to keep her for a little bit. And then he's the reason I won't leave that place, because they've messed up with her so many times. And it's always when I don't have him. And he always makes it right. And he knows us. He knows who I am. Like when he called Thursday, he said, I know you're right around the corner. You can, can you bring her in? I'm like, I can bring her in right now. I just gotta let her out to pee. And he's like, okay, bring her in right now. So they kept her and did the test, and I was supposed to hear back Monday. Then I didn't hear back Monday, and it's Tuesday, I don't hear back, and now it's Wednesday, I haven't heard back. So I go back in next Wednesday to check her, because she's got that bacterial infection on her underside of her whole body. Her whole belly is, I have to give her a medicated bath every day and leave it on for 10 minutes, and she sits there like a little angel. She's such a good girl. So we go back Wednesday for the check anyway, so I mean, I don't mind waiting to figure, as long as they've ruled out Cushing's, I don't care what it is, and they've already got her on meds, so I assume she's okay. I'm not really sure. I probably should call, but I don't like to call people. But I should call. Anyway, that's the update on Lola. Because I'm sure you're all worried about my sweet little girl, who is 11. I thought she was 9. She's not 9. She's 11. Just looking at her paperwork at the vet, I'm like, 11? She's not 11. And then I'm like, we got her in 2014, and so she was 4 in 2014, and it's 2021, and I'm like, she's 9. And then I'm like, wait, if you do 2021 minus 2014, you get 7, plus 4 is 11. She's 11. Which makes me super sad that she's 11, because now she's old. What I'm wearing, a Cascade 220 top in the discontinued color Plum Plumeria, which, funnily enough, looks a lot like that one. So, I like it. So we do have finished objects, but I don't want to bother since they're part of what we finished this month. So I'm going to go to WIPs, and then we'll go to WIPs, then have some squishy mail, and then we'll go into what we finished this month and show you all about the shawls, all the Danas. Okay, so the only WIP I have are the shorts, and I'm still not made it to the short rows. I'm almost there. I'm like 2 centimeters from being there, so it's really, I'm almost there. And these look great. These always look great, though. I mean, it's really easy knitting. You're going between regular stockinette and then a ribbing, and then stockinette and then ribbing, and it's just an endless cycle of stockinette and ribbing. I'm really not in any hurry to get these done because, and now that I've got to where I think the short rows are intimidating me, where I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, and I'm figuring when to put in a lifeline, when to bother with that and everything. I'm also thinking the yarn I was going to use for the worsted weight version, I'm not going to use because I think I would like superwash for that, just so I don't felt anything, because that's also a problem with some of the sweaters I had in mind to do, where if there's too much friction, you can felt your work just by wearing it. And they're like probably shorts or something that would felt. Like, I know you get a lot of felting in armpits. But I love these for the non-superwash, because there's no way this is going to felt anywhere on my body. I've been wearing these for how many years? One's never felted. I've never felted any of them. So I think some of those I have too much yarn to just do a top. I could also do shawls, because shawls aren't going to felt. There's not enough tightness and friction, so I could do, even though all my shawls are like superwash. All of them. Like, for real, like all of them are. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, what are we talking about now? You made me talk about my dog, and now I'm all discombobulated. Okay, squishy mail. This thing took forever to get here. This is Seismic Yarn and Dye Works. This is from San Francisco, California, seismicyarn.com. I'll link them below. This is called Escape. This was the Compassion Collection Pride 2021. So this was from June. Now, my problem with this is that I had planned, it's very bright for me, right? I had planned to design something mosaic with black. And I just got this today, and I gotta tell you, this base is so soft. It's 8515 superwash extra fine merino and nylon, 437 yards, 100 grams. I'm not quite sure if I've seen this before in any of my places, because it's not, I already have a sock yarn I really, really like for the yardage. But I would like to have one of these to dye black to make a thing. And I don't want to buy indie dyed black. I can do that. But I would like to do the same base, because this is butter sock, and I'm telling you, it's like butter. It is really, really, really soft. But anyway, I'm not big on rainbow stuff. For reasons that I don't want to share right now. And I also don't really care for, what did I tell you I would never do? I would never do fluorescents, never do neons. But I did want to have something neon with black, and I love that this has all the colors. So I think this will, I really like this part of it. I've been so into greens, blues, and purples, and then reds, yellows, and oranges. I'm like, like, I'm really a cool toned girl. I really like it. But it's a really neat colorway. And I thought it would look great in some mosaic knitting. So I'd like to make a shawl out of this. So look for that maybe next year. Not sure. Maybe I'll do that for Pride for June next year. Maybe I'll have something by then. Okay, so I'm sorry, I like to check off what we've already done so I know where we are. Okay, so do you want to start with the Danas? Okay, I'm not going to give you any measurements today. I'm going to give you measurements when we do the Dana release, because I really don't want to be redundant in my information. So the first two I have here is fingering weight. Apologize for lighting. We're probably going to get some rain. There was no rain in the forecast. It's just cloudy, but it's really dark. So we have fingering weight Dana. This is in Blackened Rose from Dandelions and Daisies. And if you remember, this was done with SSKs, okay? And then this is sport weight. Oh, that wind is cold. This is sport weight Dana, dyed by me. If you want to see the formula for the purple, go to August Dye Project. That's where it is. This one we did the knit two togethers. So I wanted to show you the knit two togethers. Actually, if you go to my Instagram right now, there's a link below to my Instagram. I'm going to have pictures of the knit two together compared to the SSKs, so you can see them. Hopefully you can see them better that way, because I don't know how much we're gonna get to see here. You can see they look just crisp, and there's no like pearl, like, you know, when you purl, because these are all, I mean, these are all on garter, so it's a SSK, and then on the next row it's a knit, so you're gonna get the purl bump on the side, but I have trouble seeing the purl bump on the side. But on this I do not. On this you can clearly see the purl bump. So the definition just isn't, it doesn't have the same definition, like sharpness, as the SSK. I don't know if I can even see, because I can't see, because that's in my head. This is impossible. Can you see the difference there? So you can see these have like they're not as crisp. They're more bumpy, and you don't really see the stitches as clearly. I don't know. I mean, I notice a huge difference looking at them, and I think you'll notice in the pictures. I think you'll really be able to notice. Now on the DK and the Yeah, again here, it's like these are almost thinner. And these are more bumpy. Like they're thinner. So the SSK, at least the way I did it, which was you slip the first stitch knitwise and then you that doesn't sound right. I don't remember how I did it. God damn it. I don't remember, but it's slip one. Yes. You slip the first one knitwise, and then you slip the second one purlwise, and when you do that, you take your back needle and you scoop up the other one that you slipped, and then you're in the perfect position to knit them through the back loop. And that is really makes it lay flatter, which I think gives it less bulk. So, I mean, I don't think the look is that different that anyone's going to notice. Like, if you have the bulkier version, I mean, I do notice the feel in the sport and the fingering. So there is a bulk factor. The Knit 2 Together is bulkier than the SSK. The SSK, I think, gives you a more crisp, defined look. It looks more crisp. It looks more in focus. You know what I mean when I say in focus? It's a crisper. Now, that doesn't necessarily... Neither one is good or bad. It's just what you want. And if you want, you know, to really, I think it comes down to which one you'd rather make. If you'd rather make a Knit 2 Together or if you'd rather make an SSK. Whichever one you're more comfortable making is the one I would make, because I don't think there's enough difference in the two. We know there's not enough difference in the sizing. And they both lean the same way when you do it this way, so... Do they? They kind of lean both ways, to be honest with you. It's like one of those paintings. I don't think they have them anymore, but the magic eye things where you had to stare at it, and then like a boat would appear. I stared at those things for way too long before someone's like, you have to just kind of relax your eyes and let your eyes, you know, unfocus, which I can do because I have terrible eyesight. It should have told me to just take my glasses off and look at it. Then I probably could have seen it clearly. Anyway, so for this month, we got all the Danas done. Did not get the shorts done. The shorts are... I'm really in no hurry to finish those right now. Because I think I have other things occupying my mind, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about. But we can still celebrate. We got 4 shawls done, which is kind of a big deal. Is this all we planned to get done for this month? Did we have any? I know it was the shorts, but did we have anything else planned for fingering weight, sport weight, DK, worsted, shorts? Okay, that's all we had plans. So, weren't too ambitious this month. It's probably like, it's gonna be hot and I'm gonna hate everything, so I don't want to do anything. So, I am so over the shawls. I'm not even kidding. I'm so over these. I'm just over it. I'm like, yay, we did 4. We have 4 more to do. I don't care. Love this this colorway, this whole color scheme that we picked out for this month. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I am keeping these two that I dyed for sure. I'm actually thinking I'm going to, like I said, I haven't cut any of the ends off from anything because I'm not sure if they're done or not. But because we will have that third series that I'm already thinking about, some of these might get pulled out under fingering. Probably not the fingering weights because I've already used those dyers and I don't want to do them again. Not like that. I mean, I don't want to catch and release on their stuff. Like, that seems kind of tacky. So either I'll dye my own, maybe, or we'll figure. Yeah, I could, because we could do we could do the half and half and the 3/4, or the tricolor, the 1 color, quarter color. We could do all those. Well, we already have one. We already have the cornbread and honey cashmere, that peach and black one to do. So we could do 3 others. But anyway, that doesn't even matter because, okay, wait, what else do I want to say about this? Oh, I also did different bind-offs. For these two, I did the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy bind-off, which is, I don't know if I did it right, but you knit one. Well, I slipped the first one anyway, so I slipped one, then I yarned over, and then I knit the next one, and you pass those 2 over, and then you yarn over, knit one, pass those 2 over, yarn over, knit one, pass those 2 over, which took up so much more yarn than the knit 2 together through the back loop one that I usually do, but I think it might be stretchier. I'm not 100%, but that is the bind off I use on all of my tops, all of these tops. It's the only thing that stretches out as much as the ribbing. But that's kind of different because I'm doing that bind off in pattern, so it's getting like a ribbed bind off. Does that make sense? So I knit the knits and I purl the purls and then do a yarn over in between. So that's the only one I do on my tops. I went through so many before I found one that, like, because you have to pull the tops over your head, right? And not all of them stretch out as much as the this ribbing. I also go up 1 needle size to do it. Unless it's a 375, then I go up to a 4 to do it. I mean, if it's a 3.5, I go up to a 4. I don't do the 3.75 because for some reason that is not enough for my bind offs. Anyway. Okay. I did the different bind off, the knit 2 togethers and the SSK. Oh, did I say this is Willow Yarns Daily and Leafy Heather? Willow Yarns Daily Worsted and Leafy Heather. These 2 are mine. They don't have names for. I don't know if I'll ever do them again, but both of the formulas for both of these can be found in August's dye project. So feel free to use them. Make them, sell them if you want. I don't give a crap. What I have next to show you is what I consider to be another epic fail for Malala. Do you remember Malala? Do you remember the name Malala? Malala is the first of my 3rd series. We tried her before, and that was a huge fail. And this, I thought we got her because it was looking good the whole time. You can see stockinette on the bias. I smell rain. I don't hear rain yet, but I smell it. So here's our stockinette on the bias. Now the strange thing is I used the Baracco Catena, which is what I'm going to use for that Ursa sweater. And I didn't realize the yardage is, it comes in 50 gram balls and the yardage is, damn it, 140, 120. Hold on. Did it again. Okay, so because it's a chainette, it's like a, you know, like a woolen instead of the worsted, woolen spun instead of worsted spun. So it's like got that hollow core, which means you're going to get more yardage with less weight. Okay, so the 100 grams together was 240, which is insane for bulky, right? So that's 240, so that's 120. So each ball was 120, which is more in line with bulky weight, but it was 50 grams. So I went ahead and did both, but I marked where my first one ended, here and here. So if we look at, it would have been, oh, this long, which would not have been long enough to get around. Okay, so this fails as bulky yarn. Part of that is, you can see where I had to join the new ball. But if it's on, you don't see it. Part of that is because you can't go as big with your needle size. You can't go on as big a needles on your yarn as you can with garter stitch. It just doesn't work out the same. Do you see how already this looks bigger than these holes, right? And this was on a eight. Well, it's bulky, so it doesn't matter. We have no reference for this in bulky because I did not do this in garter and bulky. But see how, yeah, see how see-through this is? This is on an 8, which is what the band said. The band said to use an 8. So I just went with it because it's pretty open. Now, this wingspan is only 52. The wingspan's 52. Her depth is ridiculous. Depth is 29 inches. So there is that means the shape is not right. If we're 29 up and down and 52 here, we're not, it looks like a triangle. But it is not how I want it to be, because if we've got 29 inches up and down, this wingspan should be huge. It should be huge, and it's not. So I'm calling this a fail, which is fine, because Thomas Edison said I didn't fail. I've just found like 1,000 ways it won't work. So we got to figure this out. Now I found a couple ways, a couple problems with this one. One was this edge that I used so it wouldn't curl, even though it curled anyway. I slipped one, knit one, and then purled the rest. So you have like this slip stitch here, and then you have this bump. So this purl bump right here, I think did something, but it's a really pretty edge. I think that tightened it up when I went to block it. That's what tightened it up, I think. So, which makes sense, and that's fine. I was trying to keep it from rolling. However, my bind off edge, I did two garter ridges, and then I did that yarn over bind off that I was just telling you about, and this thing kept stretching. Like, it kept stretching. It's still stretching. Look, it's still stretching. But this side, is not stretching. The side is not stretching. So I think that those garter bumps I put in there to help it not roll, messed with it. So I've taken those out. That we won't have that garter stitch. We're just going to slip the first one, and that'll make it easy for you to see the stitch when you're putting your blocking wires in. And hopefully with the blocking, it won't roll, but it probably will. Like I said, this just keeps stretching. It like seriously keeps stretching. This yarn, what do you call it? Sheds like crazy. Oh my god, when I was blocking it, it was all over my fingers. This is like the stretchiest edge I've ever seen. The other problem is I did KFBs. I did the front just like we did the Eleanor's, where you're slipping the last stitch from the row before, and then you KFB right into the first stitch. Now, I'm wondering if that's what my problem is on the bigger shawls, and why we can't get the wingspan we want on those bigger shawls. Because if you're going on like the fingering, I mean, I love that it gives a good structure to the neck. However, my problem is we don't need the stretch here because it's already so long. It doesn't need it. But when you get to this, where we do need it, that's what's keeping our thing from going, because you can't make this any bigger. This only gets bigger with how many rows you do. It's not going to get any stretch here. So, last night, let me show you this. So my problem there is the KFBs, which is fine, because what I did then, as I was working on another prototype, I'm getting a little cold from the winds coming in. I started another prototype because I seriously made this up in a day, and last night at like 4 o'clock, I'm out in my yard trying to chase down the sun to put it in for blocking, to get it blocked so I would know if we had a win here or not, and we don't. And my husband's like, why is his head perfect? I'm like, exactly. Because it does. And how to get the neckline, the wingspan, not so tight. And like I said, I did start with yarn overs, and I really liked the look of yarn overs, but not on bulky. I think the bulky yarn is what was messing me up, because I don't like bulky yarn in the first place. So it looked weird, but I thought that is a great way for you to know what row you're on, because I don't like to have to keep track of stuff while I'm knitting. I like to just look at my work and know where I'm going, know where I've been, know what row I'm on, know where I'm going. Like, I like to just do it. So with the yarn overs, it's really easy to see, do I have 2 yarn overs this time? Do I have 1 yarn over? Like, it's easy to count, even though it's on the bias. You could see, did I have 1? Do I have 2? And it'll be easier for you to see. So I really did want to use yarn overs. And they're very stretchy. And you can really, if you really block, you might just lose them altogether. So if they're stretchy enough to block, it might not be a problem. So I'm thinking of making up some mini versions. But see, I don't know how far I need to go before I know if I have the shape, because this one that I did looked like I had the shape the whole time until I blocked, and then I saw that one was way stretchy, and I had hindered the other one. So my point is, even taking out those garter bumps are not going to change the wingspan, because the wingspan is those KFBs. And now I'm wondering if I made a mistake having them in all of the Eleanor, and if the entire series 2 needs to be changed to a different, probably whatever. When I change this to, I'll change all the series 2 to do that. It's now the beginning of the month. We have to start with Maya. which that really isn't a problem. It actually gives my brain a good break to not be focused on this, and that's usually when I get my breakthroughs, is when I'm not actively working on something. It'll just come to me while I'm doing something completely different, and it'll be like, oh my god, you could do this, and I'll just have the perfect idea. If you have an idea, please drop it in the comments. I would really appreciate if you could help me make my wingspan not so tight. That would be great and very helpful. Everything's been put back to what we're going to do. Worsted weight Maya has already been frogged and re-wet and rehanked, and she's ready to go. We'll start her this weekend. And today, when I get off here in a few minutes, we've got Fingering weight Maya ready to go. Here she is with her 30 grams that I reclaimed and wet and hanged back up. So this is going to get started immediately because we just go right into the lace pattern. This will probably be done by the weekend. That's 3 days, today, Thursday, and Friday. Then start this, then dye projects Monday. After dye project episode, we will start sport weight Maya, because I'm sure fingering weight Maya will be done by then. And then that weekend, we can do DK Maya, and then we'll be done. I mean, that sport weight will probably take the following week, where then that next weekend I was going to do the Capelet, and then we'll have the rest of the month to do whatever. So in between those times, I'll also be working on the shorts. And then if the mood hits me, maybe I'll start working on Malala and figure out how I'm going to do that. But I really want to take a rest because that was a stressful couple of days where I was so excited I thought I got it. I also have to write up Dana because she is going to be released. Dana will be released Friday, September 17th. It's in like 2 weeks. Is that after Dye Project? Dye Project, and then I get to use my new planner now because it's September. So yes, we have August, finished objects, September, Dye Project, and then Dana's release. So we have, next week will be Dye Project, and then the week after that we'll release Dana. So after all that, I should be able to get back to figuring out what went wrong with Malala and hopefully, fixing her up. I did have a plan for a Halloween limited edition colorway that I wanted to do to kind of jumpstart like a grand opening thing that I wanted to release the Malala with an Aran weight Halloween 2021 yarn. However, because Malala isn't finished, and it looks like I'm not going to get her to at least the middle of the month, I'm not sure I'll have enough. I mean, I would have to really knock this out. But that was another idea I had that I can't do because this failed. So I don't know if maybe at night I'll do this. Maybe this might be at night and I'll just put the shorts away for a while. I basically don't know if I have the brain power to keep going because my brain feels really fried with this right now. Like I don't even know. Like I went through all the different increases that you can do. I even looked at double increases. And my favorite is the yarn over, regardless of if you work it through the back loop or not, to kind of close it up, which doesn't close it up completely. You still have a little hole, which I don't mind because it's up by the neck, and truthfully, when I put yarn overs in my shawls near the edges, near any edge, like you remember my Hillaries when they would get blocked and you couldn't even see this tiny, tiny yarn over I had done because it blocked out because I stretched it so hard. So like I don't think the yarn, even the yarn over, if you don't want the whole of the yarn over, basically you could make one left if you wanted. You could do like a make one left and then a yarn over and do it through the bag loop. Then you would only have an extra hole a couple times, depending on how many times you have to do the two, because it's not 1, 2. It's not 1, then 2, then 1, then 2. I'm going 1, 1, 2 right now. 1, 1, 2. So that's why I'm like, I need to have a garter one going at the same time so I can compare in real time how, where I'm going, that I'm getting the same shape, because that's what I'm wanting, is the same shape. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense too, because my brain is like about to explode. It's ridiculous. This color is gorgeous, but it's just the same. It is not my favorite. It is not my favorite one. It's really soft, but not my favorite. And now I'm wondering, am I blaming the yarn when I need to blame the stitch I used? God, isn't this pretty? What the heck? Oh my God. Look at this. You should make some of these because it's amazing. And then tweak it. Put another color underneath and then tweak it. Oh my God, look how nice that looks. Oh, look, the sun came in just for us, just to show it off. Pretty, isn't it? Oh, so pretty. I love this color too. Anyway, okay. I'm going to go because I have a lot of work to do. There's so much work to do. Like, it's so ridiculous. How do I have this much work to do and I don't get paid for any of it? This color just gorgeous. Are you just over the moon about this color? I love this color. I love all the... Look at that. Look at that. Look at how pretty it is. I'm in love with this color. I think I did really well on these two colors this month. Oh my gosh, it's like so close. It's so close, but that's a little bit more purpley. It's really close. Anyway, you're going to see those next week at Dye Project because I want to keep all the dye projects in the same Dye Project episodes. For people that are only interested in the dyeing, I don't want them to have to go through my other episodes just to see how that skein worked up. So you'll have to sit through that next week. Unless you don't like the dye episodes, you can skip those. They're very heavily into, dye, and they're not that relaxing. But I do that in case anybody else there is interested in dyeing and wants to do the colors I do. And stuff like that. Or has an interest in dyeing and wants to live vicariously through me and my insanity. Okay, I'm leaving because I have a lot to do and I have said everything that I need to say, and now with some tricky editing, I'll get it all in the right spots. Hopefully. Take care of yourselves. I will see you next week. Goodbye.